you heard of growing your own medicine? So you have to incorporate all these things. So the earthworm is feeding what you're eating yourself. Haikuli kitu foreign. Inakula kitu wewe mwenyewe unakula. And then inakupatia worm castings, which now is called the vermiculture or vermicomposting, which now we are extracting this here for your own shambas. And let me tell you why our system is the best. I can tell you for sure without doubt is the best in the world. Why? Everyone has been saying, I need vermiliquid, I need worm tea, I need worm tea for my garden, and you don't know what that worm tea is all about. Now, worm tea is how you prepare it. It's not how you buy it. Yeah? And that is why if you come to me and Rob, we will never sell you the worms. We will sell you the thing to use. Because we have done that for the last 2-3 years, and everyone is killing the worms, and they are coming so mad at us. The worms died, and then you went and took the worms to the dry ground. Of course they will die without doubt, and your money will not make any value to you. So here with me I have a vermi tea cake. Yeah, unaona hapo nataka muangalie mkienda lunch. Saa hii ni kusikiza. We do this. We feed our earthworms with the bokashi waste. Yeah, we have a worm bin, whereby I'm assuming this is my worm bin. Yeah, I have my worms colony here, and I want to harvest worm castings. So I will place food up to half of the worm bin. Yeah, mpaka hapa. Naturally, worms will come from there and go where the food is. Within a week, I will have no worms there, maybe eggs. Hata watoto wote watafuata mama zao huku. They go to eat on that food. And then you take all that, and then you clean it. You get all the goodies out, and then you mix that with cocoa peat. That is what we have here. It forms these worm castings due to the high levels of glomalin from the vermicast, the worm poop, basically. Now, what we do is, we put it in this bag, yeah, and then Shem knows how to do it best. He will measure for you what will give you exactly what you need. 150 to 200 liters of concentrated worm tea. Because that is what you need in your garden. The first step is to inoculate your farm or your soils with the vermi liquid. It's like you're conditioning the soil now. Change is coming, yeah? And I want to prepare you that I'm feeding now the life in the soil. I'm not trying to focus on the crop. Nieke NPK, nieke phosphorus, apana. You're feeding the life in it now. Now, this will give you 150 to 200 liters of undiluted vermiliquid. Yeah? And you have to aerate it to make it more effective. Why aeration? Aeration increases the bacteria or the microbial count. Every 15 minutes of aerating, you multiply the count by double. So if I had 1 million bacteria there, yeah, before I started aerating, 15 minutes I'll have 2 million. After 30 minutes I'll have 4 million. That. So you can imagine if you did it for 24 hours. Even your compost tea, the one you are saying you brew your compost, you stretch it a pile to an acre. That's what we meant. You have to aerate it. But what happens to our shops? They sell to you this thing in closed bottles, kama maji ya kunywa ama soda. Now, how will you survive the bacteria when you are airtight? And they are selling this thing a liter for 3,500. No joke. And everyone is queuing and lining. I want the vermiliquid, but whatever you're buying is not really good. So I prefer this. You can extract your vermiliquid at your own pace. Yeah? As long as you keep the vermi tea cake moist. Yeah? Dripping pole pole, you have your compost. Now, someone will say, Tony, sina time ya kungoja hiyo kitu yote, sawa, hauna time. That will give you 150 liters. So go get a 150 liter drum, yeah? Hang this thing in there. Aerate it for 24 hours minimum, or 48 if you're better to go. And then have all your 150, dilute it by 5, and then use that for your garden, if you want to use it one-off. Are we together? So the reason I'm having this, if you check to our website, you can see we are selling this at 15,890 if I'm not wrong, and it's discounted, 30% discount. But ukikuja kwangu nikuuzie, nitakuuzia 19,000. This is pay discount. Go to the website so that you can learn how to use it. Yeah? because it's really important also for you to learn how to get these things. And now this, after you have extracted all the goodness in there, you can inoculate the castings in your compost pile. Yeah? To bring the eggs and the life of earthworms. Hata nikinua hii sahi kuna earthworms hapa. You can see them, the red wigglers. You can see them. They are not cheap creatures. They are very expensive and pricey. So you've seen that. So after that, there's billions of eggs there. Kiongo nikikuachia ile utakuwa na colony hapa. So that is how it works. Yeah? And I prefer our model because even if you are as far as Kitale, as far as Mombasa, I can ship this for you and it will save you 1 acre plot. That is for 1 acre soil drench.
You get 60 liters and you mix it times 5 and that gives you 300 liters.
Okay. This is the vermity liquid. Now after you have harvested it, it gives you 3 benefits. 1, it's a great foliar spray. Amazing foliar spray. And you have to dilute it 1 by 5. 1 by 5. How? I'll show you using this. The second thing, it will give you, it's actually a soil enhancer or soil conditioner. That's a good one. I love it for that. The third thing, it acts as a fungicide to some fungal infections because of the fulvic acid in the vermiliquid. And not all vermiliquids have fulvic acid. Now comes down to how you understand your worms and how you're feeding your worms. Are we together? Yeah, so I'll show you benefits of vermity. There are quite a lot. It's cheap, it's easy to make, it's affordable, and it's applicable. And you can spray something now and harvest in the evening and eat it. No harm. Tips for vermity liquid. Use non-chlorinated water, 0 chlorine at all beneficial microbes. Use within 6 to 24 hours after brewing. So if you have it there brewed, don't keep it there seated. Use it immediately. That's why the vermity cake, I think, is a good call for you. Kama sitaki to spray this week, I can spray next week. I will extract my worm tea next week and I'll use it next week. Yeah? And then we have clean all equipment to prevent contamination. Obviously, no one needs dirty environment, so even the microbes, keep them clean. And then something to note. Vermity is not a replacement of compost for compost. It's a booster that works when combined with healthy soil practices like mulching, composting, and crop rotation. So don't think that if you got that alone, you're safe. No, carry on with the entire full package. In class 1, kuna class 2, 3, mpaka university. All right, so I think we have really had a good interaction. Please introducing. Oh, yeah.
Hi, everybody. We're just going to swap the order around a little bit because Anna needs to go to Kajiado, and so we'll come back to Rob. Okay, I wanted to start with talking about biodiversity, but we have spoken and dipped in quite a lot already. But biodiversity is part of the bigger package. I'm coming at it from sustainability and the environment, and then the team are coming at it for healthy environments for your crop growing. Thank you. So biodiversity is the variety of all living things on Earth, including plants, animals, fungi, microorganisms, and the ecosystems they form, which together support a balance of health of the planet. So at the end of the day, I'm coming at it from the health of the planet, but you're coming at it for the health of your environments, so that you've got healthier environments that help your agriculture. This is a few questions about why biodiversity matters, especially for small-scale farmers. A healthy ecosystem means healthier crops and healthier soils. I don't really need to say any more than that. We need to keep it. This environment here is fantastic. It's got all sorts of biodiversity in it. It's got all sorts of insects, plants. The entire environment is a nice, healthy biodiversity. I'm going to tell you how you can understand how your environment is healthy. Fewer pests and diseases, thanks to natural predators. So the idea that we've been talking about with your lettuces getting holes in, if we have a healthy biodiverse environment, then the result is something eats something which doesn't eat your crops. Yeah. Better yields and quality. At the end of the day, by looking after the bigger picture, you're going to have a lower loss rate due to the invasive species that you're suffering with right now. And then better yields and quality means that you're going to have a better environment for the export market. And at the end of the day, we're trying to get you up to that standard that it's going to get the best quality and the best price for your hard work. Resilience to droughts and floods. So by using diverse plants and to protect the soil and the composting and all of the soil management, it'll help you conserve water, meaning in hard times, you'll still be able to stretch your water to keep your farms going where others are struggling. And then access to premium markets. We've talked about that. We want you to get as much money as you can. So if you follow all of these systems, then you should be able to get access to these premium markets. Because sustainability is the most sought after, and organic farming is the most sought after message within this international market, 100%. I was doing a course last night, and they're talking about people are prepared to pay 100% more for an organic and sustainably. So organic is one thing, sustainable is another. So sustainable, they're talking about ECG, yeah, environment, consumer, and basically social. So you talk about people, plants, and planet. Okay, and if we can answer those questions by having a people question, which we were just touching on earlier, we're in a wonderful environment where if you start making these compost heaps and you've got people that you're employing and you're teaching them good practices, then the people tick is very, very high within the messages that you're selling to the international market. We're talking about the environment. You're already talking about not using chemicals, not putting dangerous inputs in there, trying to sustain the environment. That means you've ticked that box as well. And then, of course, the organic side of your actual plants is going to tick the other box. So you'll be talking about a message that most other countries will struggle to adhere to, like we can here in Kenya. And then sports, it supports long-term farming. Remember we talked about how long before you can start seeing these yields. What we didn't talk about is how long those yields will last. Yeah? So we're talking about from the beginning it's going to be painful, but it'll last for much, much, much longer. So the long-term effects are what you should be focusing on as opposed to the short-term effects. Just a really quick one on the export herbs, because we did start talking about trying to get you to a place to understand why the export herbs are so important. So biodiversity contributes towards the elimination. It says, when I was looking it up, they said towards reducing. We're not looking at reducing, we're talking about eliminating all chemical pesticides that need to meet these strict export standards. It improves soil fertility, leading to stronger flavor. If you start getting these crops and selling them into the international market, and the high-end people are buying at high-end prices because of the message, and then they taste your crops and see that they're even better than the ones that they're getting from other places, they'll come back. Yeah? And so the flavor that we were talking about is really, really important. So these microbiomes, the soil health is all contributing to the flavor of your end product. And at the end of the day, my job as a marketeer is to get you to buy it again and again and again. And it's helpful if your product is so good. So the other benefit, whilst you're seeing all these insects, in actual fact, you know that in the whole world, we are missing out on pollinators. So even in Japan with the cherries, these cherry crops are being hand pollinated by people with paintbrushes because they've run out of bees. Their pesticides, their aggressive manner of farming has destroyed the pollinators. So when we're talking about and coming back to you and saying biodiversity, let's use natural ways. We know that every plant has its recognized pollinator. We need to encourage those pollinators to come in to encourage the balance. So bees and butterflies, boosting yields of herbs and companion crops. So we talked about companion crops because that's all part of the biodiversity. One of the biggest indicators and the most important biggest indicator of a good healthy biodiversity is the number of different kinds of butterflies and moths you have in your garden. That is the easiest way. If you have a huge variety of butterflies and moths in your environment, your garden, your small holding, you will be comfortable in the knowledge that you're getting a good biodiverse environment. And bees, but easier to spot the butterfly variations. It creates a stable microclimate around the farm, reducing crop losses. So we're talking about yields, increasing yields, but actually a biodiversity also helps to reduce the loss of crops because you've got a better, healthier environment. And then it enhances your reputation. And at the end of the day, we want to increase the reputation of everything we do in Kenya. What farmers can do to boost their biodiversity. So I'm just going to touch on these. So it's plant a mix of crops. We've talked about rotation for soil health, but actually for the environment, it's also really important. So herbs plus food crops, e.g. beans and sweet potatoes. Use hedgerows and native trees. Hedgerows are the dividers. Yeah. So if you've got spare land because you've got a path or something like that, then use those areas, that wasted land, to plant to increase your biodiversity. Okay. Trees are fantastic because they will be offering you shade, and we all know that if you're cropping the branches, you can get your chips. Yeah. So increasing the variations of different kinds of plants will help. Where am I? Rotate crops. Rotate crops each season to help soil health. We've already talked about that. Grow flowers like basil, marigolds, and sunflowers near, because there are other insects that will come and these will attract the pollinators. Compost farm waste to feed the soil. We've talked about that. Eliminate chemical use. To choose organic pest control. We talked about, Tony's going to talk to you a bit more about how he's going to make pest control. Leave some uncultivated areas. So if you can find some spaces somewhere in the corner where you can just leave piles of wood, where you can just leave the natural habitat to grow, it'll attract all of the lizards, all of those things that you still need in your biodiverse environment. So having some areas that are not completely cultivated will make a huge impact for the birds and the insects to come and create this circle that we're trying to create. And leave the grass to grow. So some areas that are completely untouched, basically, leave it to the wild, and it will bring back to you in tenfold. And then use cover crops. We've already talked about. Don't leave exposed soil. So again, like I talked about, how do you know you're succeeding? So you've got more pollinators, bees, butterflies, hoverflies, that are regularly visiting your crops. Presence of natural pest predators. Ladybirds. We used to see them every day. I mean, if we see one a month now, we're lucky. That ladybirds are a really, really good indicator, and they eat other bugs. So we should really be encouraged if we get them. Frogs, spiders, and birds. Richer soil life, as we talked about. Stronger yields, healthier soils, visible bird life. We were talking to a young lady the other day who's talking about gardens, and she's hopefully going to come and visit us one of these days as a group next time we convene. And somebody offered her a camera to film the different kinds of birds. It's a live cam that you can see on your phone, and it's apart from it being, well, for some of us quite fun to watch, it's also a really nice way of indicating and being able to promise and produce and prove to the international market that you've got a nice biodiverse environment. And then you'll have consistent income, which is what we're all aiming for. So every farm can become more productive and more profitable. Herbs grow in diverse, healthy systems and fetch better export prices. We start with one or two practices this season, and then small steps to lasting gains. And together we can build farms that feed families, earn income, and protect the land. So that's why biodiversity. We've got all of these lovely posters here that were produced and created by the Kenya Horticultural Society. and Anne-Marie, who's one of the board members, she would like to come. Maybe next time she'll come and talk to you as well. But biodiversity was just a small section of your soil health conversation that you're having today. I'm just going to... regenerative, it's back to you. And we'll come back to this. Oh my God. Okay. So the next section I wanted to talk about, which is the intro into Anna, was adding value to your herbs. What we're trying to say is once you've got your clean herbs and no pesticides and no inputs and no disease, then you've got value in even the stuff that you can't export. And I really wanted to talk to you about that value and let you know that by layering your proposition and understanding your proposition, just because it doesn't look good, doesn't mean to say you can't use it or get money from it and add value to it. And that's the point of what we're trying to talk about here. So nothing should go to waste. Nothing should ever be burnt again once. And we're here to say, where it goes down, we can still use it. Yeah? And where it goes up, you get the very best price. When it goes right down, we were talking about the price value dropping by 50% because they got less demand for it. So let's see what we can do to enhance those troughs and get you as much money as possible. Make sense? And we want to keep earning all year round. So what can farmers do? So there's a number of layers, and as you will probably have seen, drying is a really, really good way of doing it. There's a massive market for drying your herbs, and there's a massive market then for keeping the lifespan of that herb in the purchase cycle. Once you get those herbs, there are people in Kenya. That's why we'll show them out there. There are people in Kenya that will package them for you, or you can package them and sell them into Kenya. But if you've got the international market, then let's just see if we can't expand the dried herbs into the international market as well. And then you've got all sorts of ways of using those dried herbs. So if you didn't want to just use it in that way, you could actually infuse it into oils, into vinegars, into pickles, and you could make more products and different kinds of products with those dried herbs. I'm just trying to say there's a diverse area of opportunity that sits with some of those items. Now, they're the ones that look ugly, yeah, but they're still quite healthy. Anna's going to talk to you about the next section. We'll move on to it, and it's about extracting the essential oil. So I'm not going to touch on it. They're also the ugly, healthy parts of the herbs. Then we need to do, with the bits that aren't so healthy, that are depleting and feeling a little bit sorry for themselves, this is when it comes into Tony and the pesticides. So we can talk about how you can make your own pesticide from the bits that are being rejected by the main market, but you still want to have a value of it. And then the last one, compost the excess. So we've got to have all those stalks, all of those bits that are just too hard to use, that goes into your compost. Going back to never, ever, ever throw anything away. Use every part of it and get as much value out of it as you can. That's what I've just said. Make money, improve soil, and support the farm needs. And there's some pictures of me teaching. Right, so that's the introduction into why Anna's coming to talk to you today about her oils. Apart from the planting and everything like this, does anybody know what this is? This is called a doo-doo hotel, okay? And it's built so lots of insects and wasps and different things can go in and live there and help us with our pollination. So having some of these scattered around, obviously it doesn't have to look like this, but having opportunities like this for insects to come and live and prosper will help your environment. Does anybody know what this is? No? It's got a little hole in the bottom. This is actually a bat house, pawpaw, okay?